Thank the chairman, and excited to begin this new Congress again with the chairman. It's not a great place to be in the minority, but if you have a chairman like Mr. Garbarino on your subcommittee, it's a great place to get things done. And that's our mission here, is to get things done for the good of our constituents and the security of the people and companies we represent. This first hearing is focused on a bipartisan priority, identifying opportunities to improve implementation of the Cyber Incident Reporting for Critical Infrastructure Act, CISA, and the need to harmonize cyber regulations. Before I begin, though, I did want to take a moment to recognize and express my condolences to the family, friends, and constituents of Congressman Sylvester Turner, who passed away last week. He was a member of this subcommittee, and his passion for cybersecurity, whether it was as the mayor of one of America's largest cities in Houston, that was clear also as a member of Congress serving on a committee that works on that. And it was clear during his first two full committee hearings last month. And we'll miss his contributions that he made and would have made to this subcommittee. Turning to the subject of today's hearing, I agree that compliance costs can outweigh the security benefit of regulations when compliance with duplicative regulations cuts into investment and security. We should not be imposing regulations for the sake of imposing regulations. Security should be designed to achieve outcomes that are proven to reduce risk and improve resilience and security. Toward that end, I am pleased to support CISA because it addressed a concrete security gap and will improve the government's ability to detect and disrupt malicious cyber activity. It also put in place a framework that ensures covered entities would not need to report the same cyber incidents multiple times to multiple regulators. If a hacker gets into a bank or energy company, we want them to focus on eradicating the threat as quickly as possible, not huddling the lawyers and compliance experts. It should be fixing the problem and reestablishing their services. I'm troubled that the proposed rule does not incorporate the feedback that the private sector provided during the RFI process. Congress put CISA in charge of the cyber incident reporting rule because it has a record of working collaboratively with the private sector, and our intent was that CISA would engage the private sector to develop a workable rule. Together with Ranking Member Thompson and my colleague, Congresswoman Clark, I submitted comments on the proposed rule urging CISA to more carefully scope the entities, incidents, and information that must be reported. I've also called on CISA to establish an ex parte process to facilitate ongoing engagements with the private sector. With the fall 2025 deadline for issuing a final rule looming, I urge CISA to work quickly to re-engage with the private sector and refine the scope of this rule. There are also three key pieces of cybersecurity legislation that I urge this committee to pass as quickly as possible. First, we must authorize the Joint Cyber Defense Collaborative, CISA's operational and collaboration hub. Formal authorization of the JCDC will provide much-needed transparency regarding who can be a member and the activities JCDC takes on. We passed this in a bipartisan manner last Congress with support of the chairman of the whole committee, and I hope that authorization this Congress will restore trust among JCDC participants and focus JCDC on the activities most likely to drive security benefits. Relatedly, the Cyber Information Sharing Act of 2015 is set to expire at the end of September. The bill is the foundational collaboration between the government and the private sector, and it must be reauthorized. As it relates to CISA and some of the firings that we've seen there, I want to make sure that we get rid of waste, fraud, and abuse. The government should be efficient and not waste your money. That is a priority of mine. It's a priority of most of my colleagues. However, we must be especially careful when any cut goes to public safety, national security, or cybersecurity, because we know that we are more vulnerable than ever to a cyber attack, and we want to make sure that we have the best folks on guard working hand in hand with the private sector to make sure we're best protected. Finally, state and local cybersecurity grant programs will expire on September 30. The grant program has helped state and local governments across the country improve their ability to defend against and become resilient to sophisticated cyber attacks from our adversaries and other criminals. Again, I thank my colleagues for their commitment to moving the ball forward on cybersecurity, and I look forward to working with each of you and our witnesses to do that. Mr. Chairman, again, I'm looking forward to this Congress and what we can do together, and this is an appropriate way to kick off this subcommittee, and I yield back.